Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Jackie Codie, and I am the chair of the National Action Network Crises Education Committee for the Brooklyn chapter. I'm sorry, for the Brooklyn chapter, and also part of the Education Crises team and for National Action Network. And my co host here is the CEO and founder of Harlem Network News. That's Terri Wisdom. Our powerhouses joining us today are members of co-developers of the citywide leadership team. That's me, Dr. Jackie Codie, Lorraine Gittens Bridges, and Monique Lindsay. We also have Cheryl McCollins regarding Andre's Law, Joyce McMillan representing Miranda's Rights, and Chaplain Susan Samuel representing Josiah's Law. With that said, I'm going to toss it right over to Terri Wisdom to start us off.
Okay, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. And in such a time as this, it's very, very critical that we communicate, that we exercise our power, and that we share. So, very, very, very critical and important. We're going to get right on to our panel and our questions. And I'm going to start with the group, the citywide leadership team. What is the function of the citywide leadership team? How and why and when did the team start? And then what are some of the wins and challenges you have faced? But we'll save that. We just want to know, what is the citywide leadership team?
Well, to start us off, hopefully everyone heard of the school leadership team. So the citywide leadership team is a school leadership team at DOE's citywide level. And I just want to show everyone something really quickly. Um, Hopefully everyone listening heard of the school leadership team. So this right here gives a basic breakdown of exactly what it is. Parents and stakeholders across the city are always asking, well, how come the chancellor gets to just throw out all of these rules and regulations and policies, whatever, without having our input? So, just like the principal has a school leadership team, the superintendent has the district leadership team, the chancellor should have a citywide leadership team as well. And that's where the idea came about, where it's out of need. And actually, it's already in the regulations. In the chancellor's regulations A655 on page 13, I'm sorry, Article 13, page 15, it talks about how the citywide committee is supposed to meet with the senior leadership of each union, UFT, CSA, and DC 37, and along with the chancellor. But this is not happening. So even if it were happening, where's representation of parents and students? And so with that said, we said, you know what? It needs to all be aligned. The school leadership team, district leadership team, and citywide leadership team. And this is the DOE structure right here. The DOE structure is every school must have a school leadership team and a PTA. Then you have on the borough district level, you have the district leadership team. But at the citywide level, you have no opportunity for stakeholders to engage in shared decision making. And New York City Public Schools is the largest and most diverse public school system in the state and nation. And thus, having shared decision making is a state law. We want to make sure that we can engage in shared decision making at the citywide level as well. And we're the only public school system with a third level. Anywhere else you go in the state and the country, you have your schools and then you have your district that's run by a superintendent. We're the only ones that have a third level that's run by the chancellor. The chancellor needs a team. And I would like to bring in Monique to talk about who is on the citywide leadership team, who is represented on the citywide leadership team. Take it away, Monique.
Thank you.
Sorry. Monique, are you able?
Hi, everyone. Excuse me. Was not clicking on. It's always something, right? But God is good. So I just wanted to say that when we talk about who are the stakeholders, we think about parents, of course. We are definitely part of that. We also think about the United Federation for Teachers, and we have the hold on, y'all. Okay. And we have the Department of Education, the Council for School Supervisors and Administrators called CSA, principals and assistant principals, educators, local, state, and beyond, DC 37, and other unions, New York City Police Department, the New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. We have faith-based and religious organizations, and we have our neighborhoods, of course, um, organizations, elected officials, all of us who are taxpayers, and of course, we have our brilliant students. That makes the table complete. But the table is always expanding. Why is it expanding? Because everyone's voice matters. The stakeholders at best will offer collective voices, unique insights, resources, and skills around the citywide um, leadership team. Take it away, Lorraine.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So
Mhm.
I don't see Lorraine just as yet, but
Oh, okay.
Lorraine would
Okay.
share with everyone uh
Mm-hmm.
exactly what the school leadership team is. And it came into law in 1996. But
Six.
before we go there, I want to show you the accountability checklist. The school leadership team would submit quarterly reports to the district leadership team. The district leadership team would submit biannual reports to the citywide leadership team, and showing that this is not a top down approach, this is bottom up. So now we have the information, and then the citywide leadership team will submit annual reports to the public and the New York State commissioner, and will deliver the State of the New York City Public Schools address. And we are happy to say that Chancellor David Banks was the first chancellor to deliver the State of the School address under our recommendation back in September of 2023. He did it again in September 2024, and I'm still happy to say that our current chancellor, Chancellor Aviles Ramos, delivered the State of the School public school address on September 29th, actually,
Nice. Yes. Mhm.
of this year. So with that being said, Lorraine really goes into talking about the school leadership team. This is the document that was sent all around back in 1995, 1996, when the school leadership team became law. So why is it important? The school leadership team is important regarding the achievement and the primary goal of the education system, because every school is different. So we cannot come into each school telling you what to do. We just need to know what you need so we can help you succeed. And why should I join the school leadership team? Because you want the best for your children and the school. It's important that everyone takes a hands on role approach in their education and development. Why sit on the sidelines with your questions and concerns? Work with other concerned parents, teachers, and administrators to not only ask your questions, but to come up with the solutions that benefit your school, your district, and eventually the entire system.
Yeah.
So, this is what we need. We have to be at the table. We have to be represented at the table, especially our students. As an educator, with all of my accolades and awards and trophies and plaques, it's because I listen to the students. The students have the best ideas and answers for their own education. So we'll call for your we call for your assistance in getting these bills passed for the citywide leadership team. The assembly bill number is A9085. And you see all these numbers here. The Senate bill number is S3067. And we can send out more. Just email us at nyc.clt, the number one, at gmail.com for more information and to join this fight to make sure we are represented together at the decision making table. So I'll pause there and ask if Terri, you have a follow up question.
Yeah,
Before.
I think very interesting. It's very important that we're just sharing this information across the Harlem Network platform because I don't know that a lot of people are familiar. They did potentially see the state of the schools and the address with David Banks and again this year, but I don't know if it fully resounded that there is a citywide leadership team that's at the top that the parents team and the district team feed into that. So that's very, very critical. I would just ask if what are some milestones, let's say this year, this whole school year, 2025, going into now soon 2026, what are some of the milestones that the citywide leadership team accomplished under David Banks and now under Chancellor? Thank you.
Oh, we accomplished so much
Much.
information. Oh, yes. We have carried out, matter of fact, November 20th, this November 20th coming will be our fourth legislative conference. Our first legislative conference was held in Manhattan with DC 37 hosted us. The second one was in Brooklyn at Restoration Plaza. The third one was in Queens in Rochdale Village. And the fourth one will be here,
In
not
the
here,
Bronx.
but we'll be in the Bronx. And next year
Yes.
we are already planning to have it in Staten Island. Then we have oh, it's just so much. We've had Advocacy Day where we've gone up to Albany in the last Tuesday of January. We presented workshops to show educators and parents and students how to obtain additional funding, resources, and support
From
for
your
your schools and your district. We did that
students.
in the Black Legislative Caucus
Did
this
mhm.
past February. And am I leaving out something, Monique? Because there's a lot that we have done.
Oh, no. No. It's just all about bringing our youth together, having them have the ability to know that their voices matter. They're in the schools, they know what's going on, and we are always going around sharing that and getting other students involved. And so we realize that we are all accountable. And in our accountability, it's all about educating. And if one child is not educated to the best of what they can be, then the citywide leadership team has failed. And that's not something in our vocabulary. Failure is not an option. We continue to present wherever we are allowed to, and we're always getting more of our parents involved. Parents realize that their voices really do matter. And if when we put everyone together, we cannot do anything but just keep going higher. So I get chills when I think about our accomplishments. When they see three black women, you know that's already something against us, but we don't let that dismay us because we know why we are in this. My son will be, my youngest will be 30 this year. And, but I know that all children are our children. So that's why we do what we do. Thank you.
Yes, not to take them up too much other more time, but we have a summit every other
Mm,
month. And this past Tuesday, October 14th, we
14th, yeah.
had October Youth Empowerment Summit because New York City Council passed a law making all of October Youth Empowerment Month.
Empowerment Month.
And
Mhm.
citywide leadership team was very significant in
Instrumental.
helping to put together all of the the activities for this
Mhm,
month. And we
mhm.
had our kickoff in front of City Hall, on the steps of City Hall, on October 1st. So we're just doing it and getting people together and getting voices together.
Okay.
And we thank you for this opportunity.
Okay. So very much. I just have one other question just regarding the citywide leadership team, which I think is extremely important. Just in terms of achieving equity across the city in terms of schools. You know, what the schools have in terms of computers, in terms of equipment, in terms of a variety of things. Does the citywide leadership team have impact in that area as well?
Oh, definitely. Lorraine is the perfect person to answer this question because she would tell you that this is DEI, this is diversity, equity, and inclusion in making sure that we're represented at the table. Voices, you can't keep making these decisions in silos. You can't. So you gotta be able to work with everyone because, as I said earlier, we have the most diverse public school system in the state and the
In the
nation.
whole, yes,
So
in the
all
nation.
voices need to be represented. So we're very
Mhm.
big on that. And without the citywide leadership team, we're going to get more of what we see, and we don't want that. We want to enhance and grow. If Monique has anything to add to that.
No, I don't really have anything else to add other than the fact that, as I stated, we are all accountable and, we are more powerful when we empower each other. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. Okay, so we're going to, I want everybody to keep in mind the citywide leadership team, follow up on that, engage, support. As they mentioned, we do better when we're in community. That is our power for sure. And we are all powerhouses.
Thank you.
Okay, so I want to move on. We have Cheryl with us, Cheryl McCollins. And Cheryl, if you're able to let us see you, we would love to. And we'd like you to share a bit about the Andres law and just your connection and the initiatives that you brought forth. Thank you. Okay, and we need to unmute
You're
Cheryl.
on mute, Cheryl. Unmute.
Cheryl. Let's see if no. 1 second, Cheryl. We're gonna see. Can you unmute yourself, Cheryl, or maybe
There it is.
okay,
Yep.
okay, great. Thank you so much. Welcome, Cheryl. So if you would just share a little bit about who you are, whose you are, and a bit about Andre's Law and some of the initiatives that you've taken. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm Cheryl McCollins. I'm the mother of Andre McCollins, who was tortured in a school called the Judge Rottenberg Center with electric shock. He's been like the poster child because he was the only one that was televised because we had footage of what actually happened to him. and we're trying to get these bills passed, which is S 900 and A 1166, in honor of my dear friend Harriet Hines. But the Judge Rottenberg Center is also known as Willowbrook and the School of Shocks. These students that attend there, they get nothing but torture. Our taxpayers are paying this school $300,000 per year per student. And right now we have over 186 students there. So maybe 200 plus. So do the math and you see how much these people are making off of our Black and brown students. Um, there are no psychiatrists, psychologists that work there. They have clinicians and lawyers, and they're honed into New York State. They come here with their big hotshot attorneys, and I could say, steal our children. The Board of Education are just giving them away. No one is checking on them. There's no task force in place. Now they're in the ACS system. So you take these students from a bad situation from their parents and you place them in the Judge Rottenberg Center. They're also in the juvie centers. They come to the parents and tell the parents, do not send your children to these centers, these juvie centers. We have a better program for them. And once they get the students there, they actually literally electrocute them.
Okay.
Seven, six
I'm gonna,
kids.
I'm gonna just interject because I really want to make sure that everyone is clear in terms of what is actually happening and what you're speaking about. Because Willowbrook um, reminds us of blasts from the past where there was a whole investigation about Willowbrook. And are you saying that the name has now changed to Judge Rottenberg Center and it's still Willowbrook? And if you could explain, like, what is this center? Because I think a lot of people may not even know about this situation. And
Well, okay. Well, I call it also known as Willowbrooks and the School of Shocks because of all the tragedy that happened at Willowbrook. And this place is worse than Willowbrook. You know, they have this compound out in Canton, Massachusetts, and they have fooled everyone. And the Board of Education, they fooled them too. And they are being tortured with electric shock. These kids are supposed to be there for an education. They're getting anything but an education. They're being tortured as I speak to you. If you go online and you type in Andre McCollins, Judge Rottenberg Center, Canton, Massachusetts, you'll see a lot that happens in that compound out in Massachusetts, called the Judge Rottenberg Center. We have coalitions. We've been trying to shut this place down for years, years, and years, and no avail. We reached out to Governor Hochul. We've been to the legislator's office. We're trying to get bills passed. They get to the committee, they drop. Sometimes the bill doesn't even get into the committee. Most people don't know this place exists. And
I
just
will,
like the devil, they don't want you to know it exists, but it does. And these
if
things
I
happen.
if I may, I would like to emphasize a point that Cheryl said earlier. New York State is sending our children and $300,000 per year or more for each student per year. Now, I want you to compare that to the fact that it takes $300,000 to educate one child from K through 12. Yet they send $300,000 for one student per year out of state. So our call is to keep our funds and service our students ourselves here in New York State. Why are we sending our tax money and our children out to be tortured and mistreated? I just wanted to emphasize that point.
Okay, thank you. I apologize for interrupting, but I thought that the point was so important because I think a lot of people don't know about this. And because you have experienced this personally, but as Dr. Jackie said, we don't want things to be happening silo. How long has this been going on in terms of the Rottenberg Center and in terms of our students being shipped to where?
Oh, they've been there. It's been going on since the 70s. They were in a place called, they called themselves Basic Research Institute back in the 70s, and they were in Rhode Island. And when they found out what they were doing to the students, they got kicked out. And they ran to Massachusetts, where this judge by the name of Rottenberg uh, um, kindly accepted the madness. Um, he's obviously a racist. The majority of the black and brown students attend this place. A few whites, um, and I do notice that, and what I believe is happening, according to the students that I spoke to about their parents, the Judge Rottenberg Center is paying the parents to keep them there. So it's all about money. The students come out and you don't hear any good stories. All you hear is horror stories of how they were mistreated, how they were beaten. Some were sexually assaulted. At this point, I believe they're being trafficked. Anything is possible at this place, especially since 6 students died there by being shocked to death.
Wow. Okay, so I'm just grateful that we're able to like put this out there so that people know, and certainly we're going to um, we're going to follow up on this to make sure that more people know about it. And obviously, Harlem Network audience and Harlems of the world, we need to write to our state senators. We need to write to Governor Hochul, our assembly people, and just try to address this matter.
I believe the schools, especially where they have children with disabilities, um, people need to go into those schools and speak to their parents, because when they come in to tell them how great they're going to be with their children, to say no. Um, and it shouldn't be an option on the Board of Education school approved list. So if you're looking for residential treatment or placement for your child, it should not be on the Board of Education approved school list.
Particular school. Okay. And I think that as we're investigating this particular school, I don't know if there are other schools that are residential that are out of state or even in state that students are being shipped to. And you mentioned something, this is the last question for this. You mentioned ACS and taking the children away from the parents. Where does ACS fit in, and the juvie halls fit in getting the kids to this Rottenberg Center or comparable things to Rottenberg Center? How does that work?
The lawyers, they have a lot of power because they have a lot of money. So they hire attorneys. They have a whole in network that you and I don't know about.
Okay. So when you
It's
say
an underground network.
the Department of Education, who is it? Who's the they? And we're going to move on to our next guest. So
Thank you.
thank you so much. This is I got caught up. This is really this is news for sure. Okay, so unless we are going to move on to Chaplain Susan Samuel, who is
No,
going.
no, I'm sorry. Presenter Joyce McMillan.
Okay, okay,
Yes, Joyce McMillan.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So let's move right on. Joyce McMillan, if you would just share. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to Miss Cheryl for her sharing tonight. This resonates with me because Miranda rights for families were born from these type of activities. And so you asked a question, and I want to help Ms. Cheryl to answer that question. How these things happen is we have what's called mandated reporters. Everywhere a young person is, where they should be able to ask for help or receive help if something is happening to them, they're in spaces where there's mandated reporters. So that's the hospital, that's the school, that's the therapist, psychologist. There's over 900 professions in New York State that are mandated to report. So with that said, what I find mandated reporters do, and I'm not saying purposefully, but the systems that they work for and the organizations that they work for give them a blueprint to what are reportable offenses. What myself and the lawyers that I work with find is how they are training the people to report is outside the legal definition of what needs to be reported. So therefore, they're utilizing these people to surveil families and find the most vulnerable families, because what they focus on is lack of food in the house or no food. A child who has some developmental disabilities where they can claim they can do a better job at caring for that child than mom, and a host of other minute reasons that are not factual. But I will say that 86% of children in the state of New York that are separated from their families are not separated for reasons related to abuse. So when we talk about the amount of money that's being spent to keep children in this facility, that's money if they felt the family was falling short on feeding breakfast, keeping clothes clean, keeping house clean. You could have paid a babysitter, a housekeeper, bought a washing machine, a dryer, a dishwasher, and everything else. So it's not really about the children. That's the face that they use. But behind that screen is more nefarious actions of harming and separating disproportionately Black, brown, and low-resourced families, and they make money. And I want to share quickly before I tell you about the bill Miranda.
Okay.
When you look at the foster system and the juvenile justice system and the mass incarceration system, you will find that in each category, they are each separated from everyone and everything they know and love. They each eat what they are served. Each of them have set visit times on set visit days. Each of them change homes and cells regularly. Each of them use garbage bags or pillowcases to change locations. Each of them have their phone calls recorded. And each of them, just to cut time short, are paroled back to either their family or the community if they're released from state custody. Why would you build anything utilizing the blueprint of the prison industrial complex when dealing with a child? And now we're speaking about the children involved in juvenile unjust, right? And foster children. It makes no sense except for there's intention behind it, because we often utilize language that says these places are a pipeline to prison, school to prison pipeline, foster care to prison pipeline. It's not a pipeline, it's a prerequisite training. And that is why they are using the exact blueprint, because they want to treat them like prisoners so they can learn to be good prisoners, so that when they go to prison, because children in these facilities do not thrive. And so Miranda is here to protect families by ensuring when any of these agencies come knocking, that families are advised of their rights up front. And these are not new rights. And although I've been pushing this piece of legislation in the state of New York for 4 years, it has since passed in Texas, Connecticut, and 2 or 3 other states that I can't call off the top of my head at this time. But while New York refuses to pass this legislation, claiming children won't be safe if families knew their rights, it's not because children won't be safe. It's because they won't have the opportunity to take advantage of families and rip children from a parent's loving household. This bill does not increase rights, stretch rights, create new rights. These are rights that are already on the books. Your Fourth Amendment right says no government employee can enter your home without a court order. And child protection workers, these juvenile justice workers, all of these people are government workers, and they purport themselves as having the power to enter your home, and they forcefully and coercively get people to open their doors to them and let them in. And once you let them in and you have not spoken to an attorney and you don't know your rights, you're doomed. And so this is a very important piece of legislation, and the bill number being sponsored by Senator Jabari Bridgeport is State 901, and Hevesy on the Assembly side, A 1989. And I think everyone needs to start calling and supporting and learning more about this legislation, because this legislation is what would keep parents like Miss Cheryl from going through what she and her family are experiencing right now.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. And can you repeat the bill numbers? Because as you said, we're dealing with the state, we're dealing with the assembly. And if you could also, I'm Terri Wisdom, Harlem Network News. If you could repeat the assembly person and state person that's pushing this bill, so folks can get their letters out as well.
Yes. So on the state side, it's Senator Jabari Bridgeport, and the bill number is S for state 901. And on the assembly side, it's Assemblyman Hevesy, and the bill number is A for assembly 1989.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Very critical, very important, and certainly this is powerhouse information that we are receiving. And Joyce, if you would share with us, what is your background and what drove you to get involved with this and really make this your mission?
In 1999, when my youngest child was born, my oldest is 35, someone made an anonymous report to ACS, and I have to state, I grew up in a two-parent house, private home, driveway, picket fence, dog, the whole thing. And I had never been involved with any government agency, and so I cooperated with them when they came in. But that was the biggest mistake I made, because they come in to investigate, not to assess. So even what I will tell you is more than 50% of families who are separated are not separated for the reason related to the call, but what they find once they come to your home and begin an investigation. And so that's what happened to me. They took my newborn child. I had a newborn baby at the time and a 9-year-old, and they took both of my children, and it took me 2.5 years to regain custody of my children. In that process, I became depressed, addicted to a substance, incarcerated, and homeless. I lost my job, my place to live. I lost everything, including family and friends. And I realized they purport themselves as a helping agency, but help is not help if it does not help. And they know the things they do does not help. And so I just want to bring awareness to it and create change. I've passed some legislation in New York, monumental legislation that keeps us enslaved and keep us out of work. My first piece of legislation was around the state central registry. So if you get investigated by ACS, even if they don't take your children out the home, you would stay on a registry, a list, until your youngest child turned the age of 28.
Wow.
Being on that list without a court order, because you don't have to go to court or anything, just the CPS worker who investigated you chooses whether or not to put you on that list. And of course, they always choose to put us on that list. And New York Times did an article for me that showed over 50,000 people in the state of New York went on that list every year. And so these are Black and brown people. And it has the same impact as having a felony. And more importantly, it creates recidivism, because as a grandma, My youngest daughter is 26. I have a grandchild. If my child needs me to be a resource, right, before I change that law, I would not be able to be a resource to my child, and the grandbaby will go in the foster system instead of coming to me because I'm on that list. It doesn't speak to what could have changed in 28 years. Just the fact that I'm on that list would bar me from being a resource. So there's many implications to the policies and legislations and laws that we are abide asked to abide by without even understanding um, how they're designed to disenfranchise us and prevent us from keeping our families together or being able to move forward in life, because you can't be employed, basically.
So basically, what you're saying, and once again, this is Powerhouse information, and this is not, I know that a majority of the people that are impacted by ACS situations and by children being removed from the home are Black and brown people. We know that. So it's very important that we're hearing this information because, like you said, you were not aware of what the system could do. You were trusting. And you, in good faith, allowed people to come in thinking they were helpers and another situation happened. So I think it's very important that we educate our people. Knowledge is power. And are you or working with any organization? This is my final question. That is actually trying to support parents. The legislation is happening, but are there any groupings or, obviously all the people that are here are working with families and children and parents, but this seems like it's very important, especially for young parents.
As Miss Codie knows, as Dr. Codie knows, I founded my own organization, JMAC for Families, which stands for Just Making a Change for Families. We do material needs. We have an advocacy training program. We have a healing program with a Black mental health therapist who does not report, right, outside of the reasons that is legally required to report. Families report back to me that they get more from this person in a week's time that they've gotten in a life of being mandated to services. I partner with many colleges across the 50 states, the defenders, social workers, therapists, schools in New York City. I work nationally, and I've been doing international work, testifying in Geneva, Switzerland twice, and in Cuba just this past December regarding the same issue.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. All right. So I kind of jumped the gun. I'm Terri Wisdom. This is Harlem Network News, and I'm here with Dr. Jackie Codie. And this is our.
I Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Joyce. I just want to emphasize that folks can reach out to nyc.clt, the number one at gmail.com regarding any of these bills. Stop the Shock regarding Cheryl McCollins, her son Andre, Citywide Leadership Team, as well as Miranda's Rights, Joyce McMillan. If you want to know the bill numbers, Senator Jabari Bridgeport is carrying and is a sponsor of all of these bills, actually. But he is carrying Stop the Shock and Miranda's Rights. But reach out to us if you want additional information. Thanks again.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Jackie. And alas, we're going to move on to Chaplain Susan Samuels, and she's going to be speaking to us about Joshua's Law. So,
Desire law.
oh, I'm getting everything. Go ahead, speak.
Yeah, Desire. So first of all, I just want to give everybody, if you notice, I've been clapping, I've been sending hearts. What a awesome panel we have, everyone. Oh my gosh. This is something that we all should know about. I mean, because it impacts us as a people, that we don't even realize. And thank you, Dr. Jackie Codie, for putting this together. thank you so much, Terri Wisdom, you know, for opening up your platform and allowing us, you know, to speak our truth and to let the masses know what's going on. So I am the mother of this awesome son here, Josiah Cayenne, and which back when he was only 15. Everybody remember Central Park 5? Okay, so this is a similar case where my son was only 15, falsely accused of sexual assault by a Caucasian girl in the state of Pennsylvania, which happened on a public school bus. Now, we wouldn't even be here today if they simply just looked at the video footage, which was taken on the bus, that would have exonerated my son and proven his innocence. But unfortunately, you know, the powers that be, you know, and my son at the age of 15 had to know what it means to be a black man, a young black man in America. The school's officials, you ready for this, people? Destroyed the footage. They destroyed the footage, and then prosecution allegedly lost it, and then they destroyed it as well. This young woman that accused my son, mind you, they were the same age, went to the school official. And it's funny when you mention about Miranda rights about mandated reporter, Miss Joyce McMillan, because I am a mandated reporter because I am an educator. The school officials allowed, this was what, Mount Pocono West, Josiah?
Pocono Mountain West High School, yep.
Yes, they actually allowed, they interrogated my son without having myself or his father. I don't know if you can see his father back here, you know, black man on board, okay? You know, his father without having us present, nor did they have an attorney as well that was present. She was never taken to the hospital. Okay, no medical documentation, no rape kit, nothing was done on her whatsoever. It was literally her word against Josiah's, in which they literally tried to throw my baby under the prison belt. They tried to railroad him. Thank God our attorney, which unfortunately at the last minute could not be on with us, Earl Rayner. We made history in the state of Pennsylvania in 2022 when Superior Court ruled in our favor and stated what was done to my son was illegal. What they done to Josiah was illegal. You know, so here it is now, fast forward, we have a civil lawsuit, which they've been fighting us tooth and nail regarding this. But we have been in contact with Council Member Youssef Salam, who was one of the Central Park 5. We've been in contact with his office to get him on one of the exonerated Central Park 5.
The exonerated 5.
Okay, exonerated 5. Thank you so much. To come on board with us, because I noticed in 30 years, people, nothing has changed. This shouldn't have happened to my son. Okay.
Racism ain't going nowhere.
Right. This should not happen to him.
You can speak a little louder.
So here we are now with Josiah's law. I'm not too sure of which bill it is, but I would like to thank Senator Cordell Clare, you know, for her office drafting the bill. And this is an amendment to the education law, which will add so that this don't happen to our children ever again. I have Josiah here. Would you like to speak, Josiah? Because, you know, I am teaching him also to be an advocate for himself, because, you know, this happened to him. This is his truth at 15.
Yeah. I don't really know where to start. You kind of pretty much summed up everything that I wanted to say. except for the fact that that experience radicalized me, but that's a different thing. It's just too much. Like after what happened to me, I realized this happens to too many people. Too many different instances of things like this happening to people occur all over the country.
As his father, I would like to say that as long as racism is still here, this is gonna still be happening, unfortunately. Because racism ain't going nowhere.
Racism isn't going anywhere as long as white supremacy remains around, and that's the main problem.
Yeah, if I may, I want to add, Chaplain, if you can emphasize what the bills call for. We are calling for legislation to be introduced on every level. The city, and we're working with, as mentioned, City Councilman Salam. On the state level, we're working with Senator Claire Cordell and Cordell Clear, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
And
right.
on the federal level, we was working with my Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, but I am meeting and speaking with congressional leaders on the Education Committee. We're looking to meet with Congresswoman Hayes from Connecticut, Congressman Scott. I forgot where he's. I think it's Virginia, but he's the minority or ranking member of the Education Committee. So we're working on this. Doesn't have a bill number yet, but if you can emphasize, Chaplain, what the bill is calling for, what the legislation is calling for.
So here it is. So we're adding to amend the educational law in relation to protection for all youth and students from 18 to 25. And why we're going this high, because they said that the frontal lobe really in a young adult does not truly develop until they're 25. So they still need help up until then. From being wrongly accused and detained by authorities within an educational setting without their parent, guardian, or attorney present. Okay, and having this bill right here would protect our youth. And then on top of having this bill, when I originally wrote, and I'm not saying this is what the Lord gave me, because I, Susan Sammy, cannot do anything. It's actually steps letting our children know what to do when you're in that predicament, because psychologists have proven and scientists have shown that you usually actually when you're in trauma like that, 30% of your brain, like literally you get stuck on stupid, as the kids say, totally disappears, so you cannot think. So Josiah's law in itself, with the steps for our youth, will let them know when you're in a situation like this. Rule number one: shut up. Don't say anything. Okay? Because the more you say something, the more that they use it against you to incriminate you. Okay? And two, don't sign anything, because they coerced my son to sign a confession statement. And you know what they did, which is so sad? Back in slavery, where they will have the overseer or a master right there to intimidate you. Then unfortunately, in my son's instance, it was a Black woman who was the head AP at the time that was there with the Caucasian school administrator that allowed this to happen. And he's only 15. So he's looking at her for guidance. Because I asked my son, and I have to say, as an educator, this broke my heart. Son, why would you sign something like that? Because he protested all along the way. No, 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 it didn't go down like that. And I said, Josiah, why did you sign? And he said to me, Mom, because when I saw her, I saw you.
And he trusted. This is amazing. And thank you. I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Josiah. We thank you for coming on and just being courageous and taking this experience and standing up for yourself and wanting to reach out to help others. Very, very important. So obviously, there's great leadership. How long ago did this happen, and how long have you been trying to?
It's been 6 years.
Wow. Okay. And I love.
I'm 21. I'm in college now. I'm trying to put this part of my life behind me and just advance into a greater portion. But
Oh, yeah. Well, for the judge.
Yeah, but tell him also about he's been diagnosed depressed. My son is on antidepressants behind this, building up trust again, being around Caucasians, where he had no fear whatsoever, but now he got to question and look at them twice because this has happened to him. This has really impacted us as a family.
Well, me as his father, it made me angry because I'm a retired police officer at NYPD. And we went out there to Pennsylvania. And I told them the way they did this whole thing was all wrong. You should never question a child without his parents or without any adult supervision or whatever, because he was still a minor.
Absolutely.
You know what the judge had the nerve to tell me? This is Pennsylvania. We do things different out here. That's when I knew we was in a different ballpark. That's when I knew it was about race.
Well, thank you so much, all of you, for just sharing this powerful story. And this is definitely a powerhouse day.
Absolutely.
Dr. Jack.
If I may, I want to add one correction. I apologize. So many cases, I'm getting them all jumbled up. On the congressional level, we're reaching out to the ranking member of the Judiciary Committee, which is Congressman Raskin. That's who we're looking to work with on the federal level regarding Josiah's law.
Well, thank you.
And I want to thank you so much again. I mean, kudos to Dr. Jackie Codie from day one when I reached out to her. If you ever need a ride or die, that's the one you want on your side. You hear me? A warrior on the field with you. I'm family. We thank you so much, Dr. Jackie Codie, for standing with us. Hashtag stand with Josiah.
Yeah, and thank each of you for keeping up that fight, because you don't have to. It's hard. Thank you. Yeah, so we have some roundtable discussion. I know Terri wanted to dig into sort of wrap all of what we're fighting for nationally and locally. How does this affect us in a bigger scope scheme of things? And Terri, I pass it back to you for the roundtable discussion.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jackie. And so much of what we've heard today is so powerful that it's kind of put us all kind of on a shaky thing because we know this, but it's important that other people know so that they can protect themselves. And I'm just going to give a short snippet, but I know that we had a situation when my youngest grandson was born, and it was in the hospital. And as you said, it was a Black social worker came in and, said, oh, we saw like alcohol in the placenta or something. And it was a situation where the midwife had said to my daughter, because the labor was taking long, that she should have like a glass of wine or something, which she did. And it's kind of like she was in with the woman and she was trusting. And then it became a whole nother situation. And our whole family was there, all the siblings, we looked like, I think, presentable people that were in our right mind. But once again, ACS came in and they followed her. And I had a family member that was an attorney that worked with the ACS, and they were like, the best thing to do is to just let them come in and do their process, because if you don't, it could turn into something else. So these are things where families and mothers and parents, it's unfortunate that you got to, tell your children or grown children or young children, you got to give them the story so that they know what to do. So we're going to move on to a few roundtable questions, and this is for the group. And the first one is, what are some of the issues regarding separate but not equal education that are more impactful to Black and Brown children? And even more so in a city like New York, where we have a large influx of, immigrants, non-English speaking. Would anybody like to address that matter? Because it appears all the things that we're talking about, it's not a tale of two cities, because we know that there are whites in our school system. However, at the same breath, I guess 50% of our school system at least is Black and Brown children, and then there are children with disparities. So we got a tale of two cities. Who would like to address the issue?
Well, I'll jump in on that one. This is where the necessity of the citywide leadership team comes in, because if we are all represented at the table, then we will be able to bring equality and equitable resources to everyone. And I'm going to speak for myself when I say this. Just like gifted and talented, for example, we have a certain demographic that fights tooth and nail for this elitism to continue to take place. My only argument is that you change the name of it so you could properly service the children. So, right now, as it is right now, if your child does not pass a test to get into the gifted and talented program, are we saying that over 95% of the students that attend New York City public schools have no gifts and no talents? If you are academically advanced, then say that we're in an academically advanced program. Or the specialized schools, if you have a certain talent in a certain area, then say that. This elitism, and we're paying our tax dollars to contribute towards this divisiveness, it really needs to stop. And if we're all at the table, and if we're truly listening to one another and want to work with one another, then the citywide leadership team is the perfect place where we can put an harmonious end to all of this divisiveness that we see. The tale of two cities would be no longer, because we are now equally and equitably educating all our children and giving them direct access to high quality educational opportunities. And with high quality educational opportunities for each child, now we're combating all of the other ills in society. We are directly combating unemployment, housing, all these other issues, because our children will be able to, rise up and grow to where they can take care of themselves and each other. And they are so creative. Children, they just are so creative. I think it's when we get older is when we stomp it out of each other. But they are very creative, and we need to give them that opportunity to create a wholesome society.
Okay, well, thank you, Dr. Jackie. And this is a short one because you kind of answered the whole question, the tale of
Joyce has a hand.
Oh, yes, ma'am, Joyce. Okay, Joyce, we need to unmute you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I just want to say, of course, I agree with everything you just said, Dr. Codie. I would just like to add an experience of my neighbor with the Gifted and Talented program in District 5 Harlem. Her daughter took the test for the Gifted and Talented, and I think she got a 78 or 79 on the test. And District 5 only has one school that's gifted and talented. So if you don't get an 80 or above, you have to stay in your own district. But so many kids in District 5 passed the gifted and talented test that there was no placements for them, so they just had to stay in their regular schools. Where I had sent my children went to school in District 2, and that was a whole different set of problems for me. But with that being said, every school in District 2 has a gifted and talented program. So if a child passes in District 2 with a 65, they are guaranteed a seat in gifted and talented. And these are the type of disparities that they utilize to keep us from achieving and reaching our full potential.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that. And these are teachable moments. We also know, and that's a whole other issue in terms of the testing for the specialized schools, like a Stuyvesant, Bronx High School of Science, where only 8 Black kids or Black and brown kids got in to a school this year in the school population. The 50% of the children are Black and brown. So we know there's something wrong, and whether they continue or whatever they do with the program, we know the test needs to change because it's got to be seriously skewed and biased, and there is no essay on that test. So that's the problem. So thank you. We're going to move on. This is hot topic. How do you think our current mayoral administration under Mayor Adams has dealt with children, families, and education over these past 4 years? And that's an open question. Any of the panelists.
Can you repeat that, Ms. Wisdom?
Okay, thank you. How do you think our current mayoral administration under Mayor Eric Adams has dealt with children, families, and education over the past 4 years? And when we say children, families, that's an open question to some of the issues that we've talked about, from Miranda to Josiah's to, our children get shipped off to schools or to.
I want to mix it up. I want Cheryl to come off mute and answer, but go ahead, Joyce. But Cheryl, we want to hear
I
from
was
you
just
too.
gonna say he's been too distracted with his own personal things from very early on after being elected, where he's never had time to focus on children, families, or anything else that mattered to people who pay taxes and live in this city. Besides I'm gonna keep my personal comments about who I think he is as a person to myself. But the fact is, I don't think he's done anything worth speaking about. He's a distraction to a much bigger corrupt system.
Okay, and what about the administration, the people in the, DOE or, those working the umbrellas under?
I think they participate, to be honest. Unfortunately, my experiences with people who work for the government has not been positive, because when the government, and I was a city, state, and federal worker, different times of my career, and I left my state job, which was the most recent government job I had, because of the racism. I worked for the Public Service Commission. And what I realized is Black people were getting their homes taken because they had outstanding light bills, but white people were given a $10 agreement and able to pass their homes on to their children. And the disparities were really frustrating. They was treating me like I didn't know what I was talking about. I wasn't seeing what I was seeing. I wasn't hearing what I was hearing. And I use that as an example to say, oftentimes when we work for government entities, the job is designed to be very intentional in causing harm to specific communities. And I would start with Black, brown again, and communities that live below a line of income poverty and are less resourced. they are easy targets. They are the vulnerable populations. And every time they come in to say they're helping someone vulnerable, they cause harm. And that's in the health sector, that's in the education sector, that's in the housing sector. It's across the board for me.
Okay, thank you so much for speaking to
Now, I would like to add, what's interesting, we live in a city that doesn't sleep, right? So why should our child care sleep? And that's my area of expertise. God has blessed me. Back in 2006, at the time, we were the only 24-hour child care after school learning center. We have a lot of people here in New York that work non-traditional hours, find work wherever they can, but they don't have a proper child care. Now, everyone knows me, right? They know of It Takes a Community to Raise a Child. We are not-for-profit 501c3. And every time I went for funding, I get the yes, 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 but nothing ever come of it. So are you really trying to provide a solution to this problem?
No, it's not.
You understand? I am an educator 30 plus years. Right now, for the past 5 years, my organization have been doing a student success initiative where we've been providing backpacks filled with essential school supplies and PPE equipment to help children and families. So I don't have a building, but I'm still showing that we can still be effective to help families. And not only do we help families here in the state, right, in the city, we helped in other states and even countries. This year alone, we have assisted over 445 families. New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Arizona, Liberia, Dominican Republic, and Trinidad Tobago. And this is without a building. So imagine if we were to actually get the funding that we have been asking for, as I have asked and even said to our mayor Eric Adams and so many other politicians, what impact we will have and what we can do to help families that call us right now. I need help. I need to work, but can't work because they don't have the proper child care. And if they do leave their children at home, what will happen, Joyce McMillan? Now they will have ACS on their tail because they don't have adequate child care services for their children.
Yeah, I would definitely love Cheryl to chime in. You ready, Cheryl?
And let us see you, Cheryl, if possible. Thank you.
He hasn't done anything. In actuality, all these politicians, I feel we work for them. They're supposed to work for us. During the time when
He's
they're
a
running for
patsy.
election.
Sorry, just had to add that.
Just
He's a patsy.
During the elections, they're all outside and telling everyone what they're going to do. They're just like the rock stars, the politicians, and the pastors. To me, they're all the same. They want to get in to stay in power for money and fame, and they take care of themselves, their immediate family. Maybe they'll take on a few friends, but us, we're the last. And that's if they actually listen, which most of the time they don't. To me, it's just all about their fame, their money, and them. It's not about us. They're never there. They don't come. They don't listen. Um, I've been on this walk with this JRC for since what 2013. Can't get through. It's like pulling teeth. The media sucks. They turn the story and try to make you change your words. And when they are now, I will not let them change my words and go with their narrative. Then they want to end the story, the conversation. So they're all in bed together. They go to the same parties. That I wouldn't even want to be a part of. Actually, I think they're the worst, all of them.
Okay, well, thank you.
That's why we got to big up Harlem Network News.
Harlem Network News.
Yay!
Keep your truth to power. So we're
Yeah.
going to transition, and we are right now, as we speak, mayoral election is happening, and debates are happening. What are your thoughts? And this is roundtable for the new mayoral candidates. How do you see any of them changing the paradigm for education, for families, for economic disparities, for the school to prison pipeline? What do you see as we're embarking on a new administration?
Now,
I don't
because I
see,
didn't answer the last one, I'm gonna jump in on this, and I'm gonna pass it to you, Cheryl. Um, I have major concerns, and I shared with for the primaries. I said to each of them, I said, no one's talking about education, but I point the fingers back on us because we're not demanding that they talk about education. So after I said y'all not talking about education, I would say about 2 or 3 of them started talking about education, which is fine. They all know I don't think there's a Black elected official in this city that doesn't know, well, especially from Brooklyn, that doesn't know about our efforts to build the first youth depot in the United States. It could have been done. Why hasn't it been done?
And what is it?
You're all,
Jackie,
I'll say it real fast. They're all for it. The youth depot is like a mall of youth services. So if you walk into a mall, Kings Plaza, Queens Plaza, when you walk into a mall, you have access of all the stores there. Macy's, Old Navy, whatever. You don't have to go back out. It's all there. So that's what the youth depot would be. It would have youth service organizations right there, along with some other for-profit organizations like barbershop, hair salon, movie theater, restaurants, but they all would have to make sure that they're hiring and interning with our students. So the current mayor has known about our efforts to build the first youth depot in the United States since he was a state senator. And so many others. They're all for it. I get all kinds of support letters. They're all on board. Why hasn't it been done? Okay. And so as far as our efforts in supporting our families and this current question that you're asking about the mayor election, I'm very concerned because I'm not hearing anything of substance from anyone. They're saying these things, and the one that I'll probably end up voting for, there's no real plan for a lot of things that's being said. So I really have concern, and I want to be excited about going in and voting for the candidate that I like. And there's none for me right now. And with that, I'll throw it over to Cheryl.
Cheryl, did you want to comment? And if we could see you, Cheryl, that would be great. Stay with us.
I actually see a hot mess. I thought when you ran for office, in which I'd never heard any politician ever discuss, and that's to secure the future of the next generation. I never hear them discuss the next generation. Um, as far as the Judge Rottenberg Center, a lot of people being paid off, but what they don't understand, if they don't remove these students or even close this place down, the next generation could be their children ending up in a place like the Judge Rottenberg Center. So they don't see it. I mean, most politicians have children. They're not going to be here forever. So you want to secure the future for your generations and generations to come of not only the others, but your own family. But none of them talk about it. So I don't see much of anything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I would like to chime in on this. So I personally met Zoran Mandamdi during NAN, last Christmas. We literally was standing next to each other serving food to the community, to the homeless. I did not know who he was, and I have to say, it was very humbling to watch him as we worked together and were serving food. I mentioned who I was and about childcare, and he was very interested, and that's when he let me know he was running for mayor and he would like to know more about what my thoughts are on it. I have yet to say that I did try to reach out to him, and I have not been able to get a hold of him. It would be so nice, Terri, if you was to get a hold of him and all the candidates before the actual election, because I heard him one time mention about childcare, but I'm in the trenches and I've been doing this for over 20 something plus years. He said he was interested. I'm like, okay, put your vote where your mouth is, so to speak. You want to know how to help and cure the situation. Not saying that 24-hour childcare is at all the answer to everything, but like I said, for a city that doesn't sleep, why should your childcare sleep? This would definitely help a lot of parents who have non-traditional hours that can actually customize their schedule with it takes a community to raise a child.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Don't put that baton down, and certainly you're hearing it live on Harlem Network News as we speak with the Powerhouse women. That I as well have made some efforts to get in touch with the candidates, with in particular Zaran Mandani, and I'm going to continue, and I'm going to try to reach out to the other candidates as well. There was a forum where they were there, but I think it's important, particularly in the space of Black media, grassroots media, that we put them on the hot seat and they answer some questions that are very pertinent to our community and hold feet to the fire. We have to do that. We owe it to ourselves, our children, and our future. So we're going to go to our final question so that we can actually keep our time. And been a robust conversation. I've learned a lot, things that I was not aware of, and other people are aware of it too, because we're going to have this, we have it on YouTube Live now, and it'll be broadcast and stay present. What are your thoughts about the upcoming New York State gubernatorial election and 2026 midterms? How can we use our fight to better influence outcomes? That's open for ground table. Hard questions. Hard questions.
Well, while we're thinking, I'm going to throw out some announcements while we're thinking about these answers. On Sunday, October 26th at 3 p.m., New York Fights Forward rally at First Baptist Church of Crown Heights. It's at 450 Eastern Parkway in Brooklyn. Together we stand in defense of Attorney General Tish James, our communities and our democracy, and make clear that New York will always fight forward. That's Sunday, October 26th at 3 p.m. at the First Baptist Church, right there on the corner of Eastern Parkway, I believe is Rogers Avenue in Brooklyn. Also want to encourage us to begin observing once again a Black Solidarity Day. I remember my mentor is the founder, one of my mentors, the founder of Black Solidarity Day, the late Dr. Carlos Russell. And right before that particular year, I said, we're going to honor you this year on Black Solidarity Day. He said, Codie, I'm so excited. He said, I'll be there. He had moved to Panama. He had moved back home to Panama. And he said, I'll definitely be there. But unfortunately, 2 months later, he passed. But we still celebrated him. And I remember all the things that I would do and people would do in regards to recognizing Black Solidarity Day. In our efforts to galvanize people regarding the gubernatorial elections and taking over the House in 2026, I think right now we need to start. We're the biggest consumers in United States. Let's really observe Black Solidarity Day. I'm not going to tell you to stay home, but don't spend money. If you're going to spend money, buy Black.
And Jackie,
And
Dr. Jackie, I'm going to interrupt you. Can you just share with people, because we have folks, audience of all ages, what is Black Solidarity Day? We want to make sure people know.
Black Solidarity Day is a way where Black Americans show our power. It's always the day before Election Day, that Monday, day before Election Day, where Black people, and it's really for us because others know our power. They understand it. That's why they always trying to keep their knees on our neck, so to speak. And we don't understand our power. And so this is a way for us to solidarity in action and show our strength and show our collective power in terms of who we elect and who we buy from. And again, I'm like repeating myself because it's an understanding of our strength, our power, and putting that forward. So the day before Election Day, we are all supposed to make sure we don't spend our money. And the only reason why I went to work, because most of my students were Black, if not all of my students were Black, but it was a day to stay home. Like I said, maybe not stay home, but just to show our economic power in this country right here.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And any further comments on the gubernatorial race in the state?
Well, we know that in 2026, the governor race is coming up, right? So, Kathy Hochul, they have a contender who is this Elise Stefank, is floated as a strong contender against her. But once again, I'm tired of seeing politicians coming out when it's election time. Okay. Our biggest thing on here is, Andre's law, Josiah's law, the Miranda rights. Okay. All of these, which is very important, that they need to be talking to us now, getting those passed so that the people can know that you are truly with us. Don't wait until it's time now for you to run. Okay, and now you want everybody to come on board. Because then once you're in office, okay, then you can do what you want. So I really think, it's said to get with political officials. Dr. Jackie Codie is always up there in Albany. I'm always hearing her running up there. I go up there for the for the Black, and Latino, Asian, caucus in February. Dr. Jackie Codie was just at the congressional. I was there like the year before. All of this that we do, to get in front, right? But then they need to follow through. We need to see more of our politicians that someone said they work for us, not us working for them. We're the ones that put them in office. So we need to have them to do more for us. Democrats need a backbone. I'm sorry. I am so sick of what's going on, especially with Donald Trump and everything else. Why is he even in office? We know he cheated. Why weren't they talking about that? I worked as an inspector during the election. I posted on my Instagram clearly on that day where I saw the cheating happen. I said, somebody please hear this. I will go and even testify and talk about this. Why aren't Democrats doing more? Calling out what Trump is doing. President doing memes, showing poop, being on people. Are you serious? And we are allowing this. Why isn't Democrats talking more? I send my money. I even got, are you still a Democrat? Because I'm not sending my money no more. Show me what you can do. As a Democrat, show me what you can do. Where is your spine? I am tired of this. Democrats want our votes. Then we need to see you fighting. You're not just going to get my vote. I want to see you put on your Vaseline. Come on, take off your earrings, just like we do in the hood, and fight.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. This has been a robust conversation, and obviously, it's representative of how the people feel. Okay, accountability, accountability, accountability. Folks are bleeding, folks are tired, and we have to continue to do the work. We're resilient people. I would just like to share before we leave that Harlem Network News, please reach out to us. We need your support. We need your encouragement. We need your financial support. We are doing great work, and we will continue to do great work. And that has to do with us circulating your money within your community. Okay, we've got to support one another. We have economic buying power. And it's important because media is a critical point of that, so that news and information gets out. The topics that we spoke about today are topics that are impacting everybody, but not so much that it's been front and center. And that's what Harlem Network is about. But we need your support. You can zell us at Harlem Network News at gmail.com. We have our Cash App. You can reach out to us, even if it's just to subscribe, because that helps us. If you have a story that you want to share with us and we can get it out, that's another way. If you have in-kind services, you're good at writing, or, even if you just pick up the phone and say, hey, this is happening over in Brooklyn. These are the kinds of things that helps us get that information out. We have two stories right now that are running. I have been doing a series co-hosting on WBAI with Isaac Ferguson, What's Going On. And it's been a series. We did our 7th series, and it's all on gun violence and how we can stop it. And we've looked at it from many aspects, from organizations like Dr. Aisha Sekou with Street Corner Resources. I am a member of Harlem Mothers and Fathers Saved. My son was shot and killed 4 years ago. So cold case, unsolved. We're coming up on the 4th anniversary of this, what I call assassination, that I haven't gotten lots of facts on, and I've got to dive for that. His name is Ali Sam Wayne Wisdom, and we've got to do the work. Lumber of the Shining Stone. So it's very, very important. We've had District Attorney Alvin Bragg on, and what we've been doing for some of the shows is Attorney Bragg was on in the 7 a.m. hour, and then it aired the same evening on Harlem Network News. We will be having the Brooklyn District Attorney Tuesday, Eric Gonzalez. So we're just really doing the work, and we're committed to keeping, because though the numbers are saying that gun violence is down, or violence is down, crime is down, it's not. It is in terms of overall statistics, but in certain communities, or Black and brown communities, it's higher, though it's down from something. And one killing, one gunshot is one too many. So this is another way that we've got to really, stand and take back our communities. And as the other powerhouse women spoke, we've got to take that pain and turn it into some positive action.
And with that, so proud of you, Sister Terri. We will start having regular Powerhouse series. The next one is November 12th. So listen out, hold a date, always the same time, 7:30 p.m. So on the 2nd Wednesday of every month, we are going to have this Powerhouse conversation. So definitely stay tuned, and I'm pretty sure this will take it will definitely snowball in a good way, and increase in power. And I would like for us to put out there that we support our Black media. Support our Black media. If you all know of any funding opportunities and scholarships and different things for Black media, please let us know and, support.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jackie. And I just want to share, because it's another story that we did that is airing actually tonight at 9 o'clock. The Abyssinian Baptist Church, which I'm a member, they have an annual apparel and accessories outreach initiative that the diaconate is doing. That's Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 25th, from 10 to 3. There'll be lots of clothing, apparel for men, for women, for children, and it'll be gently user made. So it's an opportunity where you can come out and shop, among us. So we've got to get creative in terms of how we win. So thank you so much. I appreciate you all, and I learned so much. And thank you, Dr. Jackie, for being a stake, a main stake, a rock. We appreciate it. Thank you. All righty. We are. I clap for all of us. And
Actually put my information in the chat. If people would like to reach out to me, it's Susan at consulting, CONSULTING, Susan at USAN.com. And my number is 516-270.
Wait, this is on YouTube.
Oh, well, that's the business one. They could get that one.
Oh, okay.
516-270-0611. Again, that's 516-270-0611. Yeah, let everybody call. Flood my cell phone. Yes, because I want everybody to know about the injustice, about Josiah's law, especially Attorney Benjamin Crump. You need to get on board with this, because right now we're at the settlement phase and they fighting us tooth and nail. Shout out to our attorney Oreno, who was unable to be on there. He was with us from day one, and which, like I said, we made history in 2022, in the state of Pennsylvania, by the Superior Court ruling what they done to Josiah was illegal. So thank you so much, people, for your continued support.
Josiah, a special thanks to you for coming on, for standing up, and for being so courageous. And we support you, love you, and you are our future. So we're all here for you. We appreciate it.
You hear that, Josiah? Thanks to each of you. Thank you.
Dr. Jackie, do you want to kind of close us out and let us go?
Well, the fight carries on. Every time I'm on any platform with Chaplain, I always give her the last word. So if I may, Terri, I know we're out of time technically, but I would love if Cheryl and Joyce can give some closing words. If Monique, if you want to say something, and then Chaplain, I'm gonna hand it over you to give us a real brief closing out. So Cheryl, if you wanted to add anything.
Let us see you, Cheryl. Let us see you.
You're on mute if you're talking.
Yeah, you're muted, Cheryl, and we need to see you. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to everyone for listening. And I learned a lot from all of you with the different laws that are out, and I can pass it around to people that I know and people that I don't know. So thank you. And I appreciate everything you do, Dr. Codie.
Thank you. Keep up the fight. Thank you.
All right.
Sister Joyce?
If you are not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
Drop the mic. Amen. Amen. And now for my sister Chaplain. Oh, Monique, did you want to share anything?
I think Monique is
Yes, so I'm right here. It was a great conversation, ladies, and I'm just asking everyone to please make sure you go out and rock that vote. We can't tell anybody who to vote for, but I think that just remember also on that ballot is front and back. Okay, please remember that part because a lot of people, I work the elections, and most people forget that it's two-sided. So I'm just going to say, leave you with a quote. Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. And working together is success. Thank you, ladies. Good night.
Powerful, powerful.
Thank you. Josiah wanted to say something. Go ahead, Josiah, and then pass it over to your mom.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I was trying to unmute myself for the longest time. I kind of said something in the chat. I was trying to unmute myself. Thank you for having me. I do. I just try to do stuff like this so that honestly, my mom has been a big help in trying to get me to do things like this for everyone, for people, for more people, considering the fact that honestly, when the situation first started, I didn't want to be a martyr. I didn't want martyrdom. I didn't want to be the figurehead of some movement or law or at the front of anything because I just wanted it to be over. But I realized that things like this happen in order to radicalize people for different purposes. And just like the man that I reference more than anybody else in recent time, the late great Fred Hampton once said, I am a revolutionary and we are all revolutionaries. You can jail a revolutionary, but you cannot jail a revolution. You can kill a revolutionary, but you cannot kill a revolution. You can you can kill a freedom fighter, you can jail a freedom fighter, but you cannot jail or kill freedom. And once again, I am and we are all revolutionaries.
I thank you for that.
And there's more, and there's so much more that needs to be done.
Coming from our youth. Okay. So
There was a Louise Burrell. She had a hand up.
Yeah, it's only the presenters.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes. Thank you, nephew.
Love you, auntie.
Love you.
thank you.
All right, Chaplain.
Running a little bit at a time, but put something in the chat and we'll get to it.
Yes. So right now I'm just gonna pray us out. So Spirit of the living God, fall fresh upon us, Holy Spirit. Lord, you said it all thy getting first get an understanding. So Lord, I want to thank you for each of these women here, your daughters that have come on, Lord, and just unselfishly given of themselves, Lord, to fight the good fight, Lord, to help your people and your children, Lord. Lord, I ask that you cover everyone from the crown of their heads to the soles of their feet, Lord, that you upgird them and strengthen them, Father God, as we continue to do, Lord, what you have us to do, Lord, for you to get all the praise, the honor, the glory. Lord, continue to put your edge of protection around us, our families, our homes, and our loved ones, Lord. And we thank you, Lord, as we fight the good fight so we can hear those faithful words. Well done, my faithful and humble servant. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Okay. Right. That
Amen. Amen.
Ashe, and thank you, Jackie, and everyone. Onward, soldiers. Whatever you believe in, whatever way you're walking, onward. That's where we are, and this is our powerhouse. So thank you and good night. Okay.